Hi everyone! So as the Season 24 start is approaching, I want to talk a little bit about the best builds to play next time around. So you might have seen some of my other videos covering the PTR, the patch notes, the new build guides, and with the ethereals in Season 24, almost every build in the game is getting a huge bonus. But we also have some new stuff like the newly buffed Wave of Light, like the reworked inners, and the meta in itself is also extremely diverse. Every single class has its spot in some place. Every single class can be DPS besides the Barb, and you can perform really well in both solo and group with pretty much every single on them. So with this, I want to give you some guidance about what to choose next season in case you're not sure yet and you might want to focus more on solo, you want to focus more on groups, maybe more on farming, etc. So I'm gonna cover that here. On the Maxwell website, we have already updated everything for Season 24. We have ethereal guides for farming, for the mechanics. We have ethereal sections in every single build guide. In fact, the field planners, everything is there. So go check them out. And here are also our tier lists and also our meta posts about group XP, 4-player push. This is what I want to talk about here. And of course, solo. So first things first, you see that the solo tier list has a lot of S tier builds this time around. So there are in total 13 builds, every single class has one here, and those are the builds that will very likely do GR 150 solo at the very high end at least. Some of them more easily than others because some of them are actually stronger than others. For example, LOD Wave Light is the clear winner here, even better than Firebird Wizard, and it's gonna obliterate GR 150 solo at probably something like 2-3k paragons already. And then you have Firebird close behind, and then you have some of the other builds that kind of require more and more investment to go there. But in general, the top solo builds are typically also top farming builds. For example, this especially applies to something like God DH that is actually up here because it gets a huge bonus from the Bereza Dokianon Ethereal, and we actually put it here in S tier as a result. So while it's not necessarily the best pushing build, it is definitely up there here. So this is the solo XP tier list, and you can see there's very few builds here because some of them are just not suited well for very efficient speed farming. Doesn't mean that they're bad, but they're not quite the same as some of the others. Here's the Wave of Light again, here's a God Hanging Arrow, there's Firebirds, and there's LoN Bombardment. LoN Bombardment Crusader also extremely strong this time around with the ethereals because you can wear a one-handed weapon and you have some other small perks that help out the build, and it is going to be a very good experience for Crusader. So Monk and Demon Hunter are definitely the two classes I would recommend to people that mostly intend to play solo, because especially God DH is just such a nice farmer in solo. Monk, you can make this LOD Wave of Light, you can do the new inner stuff, you can do POJ. There is a lot of really good stuff here and a variety of playstyles, and you fit into the group meta easily as well, because people will want you as a Wave of Light Monk. LoN Bomb is also up there, but not quite the same in efficiency and DPS, and you're going to be find a group spot as a DPS. But you'll be included in pretty much every single group composition as a support. So if you want to play a lot of support, then Barbarian is a good choice. And with the Whirlwind, and also there's Leapquake, there's Frenzy, we have a few options for kind of efficient solo farming as well. The Wizard is gonna stay the best meta for XP farming, so it was already competitive with Rats, and now it's slightly better than Rats because it gets more from the ethereals than Rats does. So it is actually gonna be the best 4-man XP meta with the bird runs. So this is the mirror images with flame blades as we have seen in Season 23. It is gonna be extremely powerful. It can go beyond GR 135 even, or even higher, but it's gonna be a bit different this time around with the Mangsong's lesson, where you have to drop the Orgel set and you have to manage your resources a bit more thoroughly because you don't have Arcane Power on crit. So you have to stack resource cost reduction. You might want to go Astral Presence as a passive, and like this you can sustain your resources. But it is really cool having this really big staff on your back and having the mirror images just destroy stuff. This is the XP meta that will go the highest tiers but at the slowest pace, so you can expect something like 3.5 minute runs roughly on average. So it's not exactly fast, but you can go quite high. Then there is the so-called Bell runs, which is the LOD Wave of Light Monk that I mentioned. So this is going to be around even, slightly behind perhaps. So depending on what kind of optimizations we can find, it will be plus minus the same, I believe. And then there are the Rat runs. So this is also around even with the Life Light, very slightly behind the Firebird's Wizard. I think there will be some groups running Rats anyway, just because it's so like long lasting, easy to do, and kind of like the meta for years, and some people really like it. But I wouldn't really expect to see a lot of Rat groups here, because we have the Wraith of Light stuff and we have the Firebirds that are simply a bit better. But if you play a Necro and you really like this, then Rat runs is still there. It's still the same old setup with the triple Necro and the support Barb. Also, you can do a ZDH setup if you drop the Barb, but this is mostly recommended for the high-end groups. So after like Paragon 4, 5, 6k or so, you might want to do that, and this can kind of squeeze out like another 1 or 2 tiers and boost the efficiency to roughly the same as the Firebirds. With what I mentioned at the start of every class besides the Barb having a DPS spot, there is also these so-called combination runs. So you can do God the Age, Bomb Satyr, or the Mystic Ally Monk with Inners, and you can combine and mix and match them as long as you don't have 2 monks, and all of those kind of perform on the same level and have like a bit of like synergies between them. So this is something you can do. For example, if you mostly play in a God the Age or a Satyr and you mostly play solo, but maybe here and there you might want to group up, and this might be something for you. It is not very far behind in efficiency. You can definitely go like GR 120 plus speed to this rather reliably with any kind of group composition that has a ZDH, a Z-Barb, and then 2 of those classes, and it's gonna be a very fun combo that you can do. Now about the Witch Doctor. So on the solo tier list we have Mundunugu and Zunimasa. Zunimasa is actually gonna push higher than Mundunugu. It is the strongest Witch Doctor solo build, but it is incredibly difficult to play. It is super squishy, you need very good positioning, you need very good timing, and you need to fish a lot to perform anywhere close to the cap because of how squishy it is. So this is not really a recommended choice, but for Witch Doctor lovers this is going to be extremely good, going all the way to 150. It is pretty good also for something like 2-man pushing, but again very squishy, so realistically we're going to see a lot of Firebird Wizards in 2-man compared with a Barb, and the same in 3-man. So it's going to be Firebird Wizards and the Spirit Barrage Witch Doctor. That is actually the meta 4-man trash killer in the 4-player push. If you go to 150, you'll see Witch Doctors. So this is the reason to play Witch Doctor here, because you can farm 150s reliably. This is almost on the same power level as the Spirit Barrage Witch Doctor back in Season 20. I think here this time it's like 40% weaker or something like that. Personally, I have played this meta a lot in Season 20 and I really love it. It's probably the most fun farming meta I've ever played, and it is going to be annihilating next time around again. So very good buff here from this Ariox Needle Ethereal that the Witch Doctors got here, that give a 200% bonus to Spirit Barrage, and this makes it so that you can destroy. You can probably one-shot most packs after like 2, 3, 4k Paragon in 4-man 150. In fact, there's actually this Rift Guardian one-shot strategy that people will maybe go for later in the season when they have higher Paragons, where you make a huge pull at the end when you have like 98% progression, and you click the power pylon, you have a pull of 100 monsters, and you pop the pull, spawn the Rift Guardian, and then you have 2 other Phantasms that will kill the boss for you instantaneously. We'll see how much this will happen. This is mostly something for the top end groups because of the Paragon requirement and the coordination required. And also the Firebird's Rift Guardian killer is extremely strong this time around. So this one will also kill bosses in somewhere between 5 to 15 seconds anyway on the very high end with the R conversion. The second best trash killer is the Necro, so we're probably going to see some Scythe Necros as well, because it's going to be red runs and people will have a geared Necro, and it will be kind of difficult to gear those Witch Doctors because they don't really have a spot in any speed meta. So you mostly have to rely on T16 and bounties and whatever else you can fit your Witch Doctor into. But for the most part, we're also going to see, especially early in the season, these Scythe Necros. This is also nothing really new. I think in Season 21 this was already played as the meta composition. So it works exactly the same. It has roughly the same power level as before. I think also slightly less. And this will be the second best alternative. But later on, it's going to be Witch Doctor only. So overall, it's going to be a very exciting season. Every class has kind of its purpose, and I hope that I could help you a little bit with your decision. There are a lot more details to all of what I have just explained. If you want to see more about anything, don't hesitate to go check out maxroll.gg. click on the tier lists, click on the metas, click on the guides. Also here, for example, all these blue links actually mean that all these builds have a guide attached to them that you can read. You can see all the details about how to build them, how to play them, and everything is in one spot there. I hope that my video here helps you to make your own decision for what to play in Season 24. For me, it's most likely going to be Monk, at least as a main, and then we'll see about what else I'm going to do. There are so many cool options this time, so many builds that are extremely good, all classes reaching the top end of the leaderboards, and it's just going to be really amazing to see what's going to happen next time around. So I'm excited, I hope you are too, hope you like this video, and see you guys next time.